All right, day 5. So day 5 is going to be the last day of every week, basically, and I'll tell you what to do on the other 2 days at the end. But the mission for today is going to be very simple. Strong eye contact, not just while you're talking to somebody, but while you are speaking. And same stuff with all the triggers, right? It's best if it's in the morning. If you can, think of a person that you definitely want to do this with. And I will tell you, if you know that strong eye contact comes easy to you, pick someone that you think is a little bit superior to you, or someone that makes you nervous, a boss, maybe someone you have a crush on, whatever, because that's going to stretch you. If this is not something you focused on and not something you do, pick someone that you're a bit more comfortable with. This can be a friend, a colleague, your closest coworker, whatever. But earlier in the day is best because that will set the habit to continue for the rest of the day. So step back, think of that person, and find the trigger, right? Is it hitting the elevator? Is it opening some door? See the things that you're going to see, hear what you're going to hear, and set the intention to immediately after whatever that trigger is, look the next person in the eye, right? So you can go back to the entire section on eye contact that we have, but in sum, what that's going to be is narrow eyes are going to be better, right? Here's a blank stare. Okay, like that's not very comfortable. But when I smile, my eyes get a little bit tighter. That is going to make people feel much more comfortable around you because it's not just a dead stare, like what is this person thinking? They're laughing, they're smiling. Expressive eyebrows will be helpful too. If you've seen the video breakdown that I have of Bill Clinton, he's got these really cool eyebrows and he basically communicates entire thoughts with just little flicks of his eyebrow. That'll come later, but something to think about. So pick that one person, and the goal, what you might realize is that you can't, it's harder to think of things to say. You're not as witty, you're not as clever, because might be strange for you. And this is how it was for me. When I first started making more solid eye contact, I couldn't think straight while I looked at the person because I was like freaked out. That is completely normal. But what you have to do is not put too many goals on top of each other. So for today, you're allowed to have crummy conversations with this person. It's allowed to be a little bit awkward. That's fine, because the goal is going to be eye contact. Now, again, if you can take this with you through the day after this person, fantastic, great. And you'll see, this is one of those things that you get better at very, very quickly, right? If you actually keep this up throughout the day, by the end of the day, you're going to have like much longer unconnected like gazes with someone than you might have at the beginning of the day. And again, I'm not too worried about the like 1,000-yard stare. When do you break? People naturally break. They'll break, you'll look away, you'll have a thought. This will happen. You don't have to be like a Terminator robot with your head locked on. But I would say longer eye contact is going to be better. I have never actually come across someone that had strong eye contact that was expressive with their face that looked too long. In fact, I've talked to people that would just go for minutes at a time, but because they were engaging and their eyebrows, it made them supernaturally charismatic. So if you're like, wait, I'm staring for too long, I know I'm supposed to break, you'll break naturally, one, and two, it's not so much about the breaking as it is about the emotion that you put into your eyes and your mouth and the expressions that you say and the words that come out of your mouth. That is going to be what makes the eye contact not feel uncomfortable. So that is the tiny habit for today. Pick one person, set the trigger, and for the duration of that conversation, look them in the eye. Now, this is one that I really recommend that you comment on because people are going to have vastly different experience of this. Some people, this is easy. They've been doing it since they were 6. They never even thought about it. If you're like me, that's not the case, and it's uncomfortable at first, and it's something that you're going to want to work on and potentially write about and just note. So, again, get it there in the comments, share this. That's going to help with the accountability. So that is day 5. What do you do over the next 2 days? Well, here's the deal. A lot of people have different schedules on the weekend, which is why I recommend you start this on a Monday. And so what I want to do is for the weekend, you can go back and pick any day that has helped you, or if you're like really good at just integrating all of them, go ahead, challenge yourself and do it in a tiny habit style, right? One thing that you need to do today, pick the day that was most impactful. But really what I need you to get out of the weekend is to reassess all the things that we've covered and look back and say, okay, which were the ones that I need to work on? Which were the ones that maybe did have a big impact, but I sort of let drop off, which is totally fine. That's the point. And if you can start to narrow it down, and if it's all of them, great, right? Go back to one at a time, bringing them in. It's going to get easier to start to add habits on top of habits because, well, at that point, they're habits, and you don't have to think about them. So the weekend is an opportunity for you to, one, reflect on what has been most valuable and what you want to take forward into forthcoming weeks. And then second, to start to even go back to those days or the days that you feel like might need more work and add other things. Now again, all of the module cannot be encapsulated in these daily missions, right? Some things really lend themselves well to tiny habits and other things don't. So if there's another aspect of the first impressions module, or any module for that matter, you can start to try to set an intention over the course of your day to change your mood. But it doesn't always work well with the triggers and the tiny habits. Some things are just, they're bigger habits and you need to attack them differently. So again, those are things that you can do on the weekend. If you have any questions about that, for like things that, skills that you don't feel like you're getting covered in tiny habits matter, go ahead, let me know, comments, email, whatever, Charlie@Charisma on Command, and I can sort of help you with how I started to integrate some of this stuff into my life. So that is it for the first impression action integration part. Hopefully you're starting to see how this stuff can impact your life when it is not just something that you talk about and think about and absorb, but something that you live. So very excited to start now with the next week. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you soon.